Hey guys, Goddess here. What's up? I've had the privilege of doing a video with Justabox from Justaboxgaming to discuss some of the tunes that were leaked recently. Thanks a lot for having me, Jab. I'm also posting the video in its entirety here. Enjoy!
Hey guys, you're back with Justaboxgaming, and we have some more leaks here today. So we have a 4-star, and then we mostly kind of have 5 stars, which ascend into 6 stars. We've got a fair few available here. Some are good, some are not so good, and the 4-star is generally an interesting one as well. Actually, with me today, I've got Angelina, aka Goddess. So she's going to be looking at these tunes with me, and she is somebody who is in all of my group chats and things like that, and is just starting her own YouTube channel. So Angie, just want to introduce yourself here.
Hey guys, Goddess here. What's up? Yeah, I'm crashing Jab's video today, so I hope you guys don't mind the sound of my voice as much.
Okay, so we'll start off with the 4-star Jeremy, who actually I think for a 4-star looks pretty interesting. He's 66 AP, 275 damage, confused for 2 turns through a line of enemies. All teammates get 35 crit for 2 turns, and then his specialist skill, which is a new one, I think is pretty cool as well. When this character performs a critical hit on a human enemy, they will confuse them for 1 turn. So what do you think, Ange?
For a 4-star, he's actually quite decent. I mean, if we were to compare him to some of the 4-stars that have been released up till now, well, confusion is a really good skill. I mean, it's a 50-50% chance that they will annoy your team when they're attacking. So for a 4-star, he's actually not bad at all. The 66 AP, you can get him to rush quick if you have the right weapons and the right lead. So not too bad, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that specialist skill being pretty good as well if they put that in some 5-star tunes. So the next tune, we have a 5-star Dr. Stevens, who I'm not really sure where this guy's going to come into it. Maybe he will be a free tune from the anniversary or something, but I do like the character model. He's still, for some reason, Dr. Stevens still walks around in his little Dr. Mouth mask, even though it's the zombie apocalypse. So it's 58 AP, all teammates get plus 40 crit for 2 turns, all teammates regain 60% HP and gain 20% bonus HP. So he's okay. I don't think he's anything really special. I mean, there's a lot of healing and stuff going on there, but he's yellow, and I think we've got quite a lot of kind of yellow healers and yellow crit people.
Yeah. If I were to from the top of my head, Dr. Stevens could possibly be the fast equivalents of the Darlene that we have, and the Blue Douglas. So I'm guessing he will be really, really useful in survival road, especially against these absolute defense soldier characters and so forth in the higher levels.
Yeah.
But I agree, there are a lot of yellow crits and heals and stuff. So I don't really know if if he's going to be a staple in anybody's teams, like in regards to PvP or anything. So
Yeah,
that's
I do like the crit and the heal rushes because, like you say, for survival they're really good. I try and get as many of them as I can, but I think it's I used to struggle with like the yellow levels, and then I used to struggle with the red levels, but I actually really dislike those. I think it's the all green ones when the walkers like stun you. It can take like 10 seconds to get ganged in those green levels. I really hate them ones.
oh yeah, yeah.
They're pretty
Yeah,
nasty.
they are.
Um, so next in we've got Sandy, who's a 5-star. Presumes she'll be like a premier recruit or something, but she can be ascended into a 6-star. So she's got a skateboard. Um, Not really sure how I feel about that one, to be honest.
Well, you have to keep on rolling in the zombie apocalypse because you stop, you're dead.
That's true. That's true. But she's okay for a 5-star. Like a lot of these kind of 5-stars into 6-stars have been pretty average, I reckon, in terms of the 5-star characters. Like we had The Victor, who I thought was pretty average as a 5-star, but Sandy looked pretty good. So she's 45 AP, 550 damage to one enemy, and then she does the adjacent -40 defense for one turn. And she's lifesteal, which is pretty average, but her stats are pretty nice as well, I think.
Yep, really high stats. She's definitely on one of the top high stats list there. Nice damage, but personally, there are a lot of yellow Toons that do damage and debuff or buff at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see where she could fit in my personal opinion.
Yeah, like I'm not sure she would you would use her over like a Victor or even Lester or something like that. You'd probably use those two over her, but she ascends into the 6-star version and she's got rid of the skateboard. Obviously wasn't working out for her at that point. But she's 76 AP. Her attack stat is actually really high, 1808. So really high. So she does similar. She does 575 damage to one enemy, and then they get an adjacent defense down buff, but only -30 defense rather than -40 defense, which is what the 5-star does. And then her active skill is focus, gives 3 people focus, and then the specialist skill is waste not, which is the one where you do the damage, and if it kills somebody, it splashes over, which I could see working quite well with Sandy because her attack stat is pretty high. And that adrenaline rush doing 575 damage, I can see that killing people. And maybe when she's maxed out, that specialist skill will work well with her. But again, I'm not too sure about the adrenaline rush really.
Yeah, the 6-star version is actually pretty sweet. Focus will help a lot, especially if when you come up against teams with shields and a tanky lead or anything. So I think this would be an interesting Toon to watch in the future. But like you said, the adrenaline rush is no big whoop.
What do you think about the active skills that give focus, but they only give it to a few people? Like Sandy only gives it to 2 people.
Yeah. Well, I would personally prefer focus to everybody like Kate does right now. That's awesome. So this is basically a hit or miss. If the luck is not on your side, then you won't get focus applied to the Toon that you actually need to kind of break the defense team that you're up against. Yeah. But having said that, I think that there should be some sort of balancing in regards to a Toon's active skills and adrenaline rush, because you can't have too many of a good thing, because it would just totally be putting everything out of whack. Yeah. You'd be like, how do I stop this? You can't.
Yeah.
So it's reasonable. That's my take on it. It's reasonable that only selected few get
focus. Yeah. Okay, so the next Toon we've got Wyatt. So he is a strong Toon, 56 AP at a 5-star, 325 damage to a line of enemies. This character on one team may get pain split and +70 defense for 2 turns. He's got the hold the line specialist skill, which I think on a 5-star and a 6-star is going to be pretty annoying actually, because I don't know how many times you fought Dwayne, but for some reason I always end up leaving him till last, and then he is a bit of a pain to get rid of.
Yep. I actually think that the specialist skill hold the line has been underestimated. As you said, if you leave Dwayne last, especially if he's holding a stun gun or anything, he can take out at least 1 or 2 of your Toons, just prolonging the fight. So definitely it can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Wyatt then actually goes into 6-star, and he kind of looks like a hippie version of Cal as a 6-star. He's got like a rain jacket over his head and a spear. But his adrenaline rush, 76 AP, 325 damage to a line of enemies, still gets the plane split, +60 defense for 2 turns, but they also gain 30% bonus HP. So that's pretty nice. So he gets the defense, and then he gets the bonus HP on top of that defense. I think that could work pretty well. We all know kind of how annoying that blue Michonne is, but his active skill again is pretty nice. It's a taunt, so it taunts one enemy for 2 turns. So I think overall, the character looks pretty nice, and then his weapon has got reflect damage on it, which let's be honest isn't great, but you could strip that out and put AP down on him, and then he'd kind of almost be like a 6-star Cal type of thing, especially due to the fact he's still got the hold the line specialist skill as the 6-star as well.
Yeah, definitely. Reflect damage is the first thing that would disappear from that weapon, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But Wyatt as a 6-star, I'm thinking he can be a real pain in the ass. He would just be essential in making an effective timeout team, I think, just to just keep somebody engaged or stuck in that fight for as long as possible, especially if he gets his AR off and his active skill and everything. So yeah, put an AP down on him, and he's probably going to be one of the last few Toons you'll be attacking, and then the hold the line kicks in, and it's just going to be so annoying.
Yeah, especially when you consider we've got like the 6-star Glenn now. If you had like the 6-star Carl, if you had him behind Carl.
Yeah,
with
definitely.
With that leader skill, he would be a bit of a bastard. But yeah, Glenn is actually the next league Toon. I was looking at him, which is why I said his name. So he is a bit of a hipster. He's got some sunglasses on.
I'm sensing a pattern here. You're either a hipster or a hippie.
Well, I'm not sure where they get all these kind of added extras in the zombie apocalypse, to be honest. But I suppose you could just go into a department store and shop till you drop. But
Yep.
his adrenaline rush 76 AP. He confuses 2 enemies for 1 turn. All teammates get plus 65 attack and plus 65 defense for 3 turns. So he doesn't actually do any damage at all. His active skill, up to 3 teammates recover from bleed, and his specialist skill is command. So command is obviously really good, but his active skill is just a little bit situational. I mean, you can probably count on one hand the amount of times bleed has actually kind of caused you an issue in raiding. And then the adrenaline rush as well, no damage, just confusing people and just giving people a buff. Pretty average overall, I think. I'm not really excited by Glenn at all.
No, he it's no big whoop. And as you said, recover from bleed, that like not many people have come up with very effective teams that do run on a bleed meta. So nothing fancy. It's a bit meh. Yeah. But he does look kind of cool.
Yeah, he does. maybe in the future, if they have more bleed Toons or something, he may be useful. But yeah, nobody really struggles with that right now.
No.
So the next Toon is probably one of my favorites, which is Yumiko. So she's 66 AP. There isn't really kind of any obvious indication what 5-star Yumiko will ascend into this one, because she gets a crossbow. But I would presume it's the original one, the one from the 5-star tokens. That probably would be most likely, I guess. But she does 250 damage and 400 burn damage for 3 turns to up to 2 enemies. Her active skill is a confuse, which is pretty nice, and her specialist skill works well with that because she is a cutthroat. And then her special weapon, it's kind of like the original Yumiko. She's got stronger attack, but this time she's got the 150 version rather than the 120, which is the level 3 crit success. But we were just saying kind of off the video, the way burn, when you kill somebody with burn, it flicks to the next target. So if you've got 2 people burning and they both die from burning, do 2 burns, then go on to another 2 people. If they do, I think Yumiko would be pretty nice.
Yeah. Definitely. She's yummy. Yeah, the confuse would be really interesting as well. And I mean, she does damage, and it's also I mean, it's damage over time as well, and you'll need like a proper burn cleanser to get rid of it. And that confuse on top of cutthroat, Yumiko is, like I said, yummy.
Yeah, she's definitely nice, and I think with the mirror boobs 6 star as a leader or something like that, then she could work pretty well under a leader like that.
Yeah, definitely. Mirror boobs. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what kind of new combinations we'll get with the ranged tunes and stuff with mirror boobs 6 star in play.
Yeah.
Yumiko would definitely benefit from that.
Yeah, I think at the moment it's kind of 50-50 as to which is better, like ranged or melee. There's a few hit and misses for both of them. Like in the ranged, we've got like mirror boobs, we've got that Yumiko. I think that when the blue Abe comes out, he'll be pretty nice as well under that team.
Yeah.
And then in melee, we've got like Shiva. We've got the
Carl.
Yeah, the Carl, and this, who was the guy that we looked at, Wyatt. I think he would be pretty good there. So I think there's a few good ones for each side at the moment. But the next tune we got is Rick, and again, it's not really obvious what he ascends from. I think he kind of looks like the 5 star version, the one in the depot. If you look at his stance, it looks more or less exactly the same. So I think most people are guessing that. But his adrenaline rush, 76 AP, 200 damage, and minus 65 attack for 3 turns to up to 3 enemies. His active skill is pretty nice. He's almost like an anti-Priya with the recover confuse. And his specialist skill is kind of garbage, unfortunately. Evasion is pretty much a useless stat, really.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree there. I do think that 200 damage is a bit low because more often than not, you're probably going to build up AR instead. So I'm not really happy about the damage part there. Even if he does have a pretty high base damage stat. But I don't think, like, if you're going to use him, if I were going to use him, I'd follow up with another AoE that does deal damage, because otherwise those tunes would just survive and just spank you right back.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would probably go for Rick just for the recover confuse option.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Taunt does that as well, so I'm not sure you would pick Rick just for that recover confuse thing, because I don't think he's that great otherwise, but he's okay. But then we've got Shane. Again, I think this would be the dropper. He's kind of got a very similar stance. And he is a 66 AP fast tune. He's tough. So all teammates will gain 60% of their max HP and recover from confuse. So again, he is pretty much like an anti-Priya type of thing. He's got a recover taunt active skill, which obviously does what it says on the tin. You get to ignore taunt. And then this guy's actually got a leader skill, so all tough teammates get plus 40 defense and a huge bonus to AP when taking damage. I quite like the leader skill, but I think it would be more useful on attack. I don't think the huge bonus to AP when taking damage is any good on defense, just because of neutralizers are everywhere these days.
Yeah. There is one thing I was thinking. If you have a Shane and if he gets confused, then you can't really recover from confuse.
Yeah, that's true.
To that, with that in mind, I'm thinking, yeah, it's nice, but it's depending a lot on luck and who gets hit and who doesn't. So I'm not sure I would be going for that. Unless, of course, you are pairing it up with another tune that already has focus to all tunes, like a Kate in play. That would be giving it backup. But if you're going to use him as a lead with your attack team, then I don't know if you want to put the Kate in there.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of and I think with the leader skill, if it were for all ranged teammates, then definitely, because some people do have Maggie and the Maggie with the focus. So with that, it would probably create a better a better symbiosis or coexistence. But yeah.
Yeah, I think from looking at these 6 stars, I think a lot of 5 stars almost offer better options at like a a lower adrenaline rush cost. I mean, obviously they've got lower stats, but you would probably take like a Maggie, for example, who gives focus to everybody over than, you know, over one of these 6-star Toons, or at least I know I would. Okay, so next Toon we have the Red Governor. Again, he looks very similar to the one in the Supply Depot, so I think it goes without saying that it'll probably be ascended from that version. His attack, again, is super high. It's 1824, so very, very kind of hard-hitting Toon. And his Adrenaline Rush, 76 AP, deals 600% damage to one enemy. That enemy and up to 2 other enemies get impaired for 2 turns. His active skill is Recover from Burn, which is so situational, it's almost useless, I think. Romanov is the only burn Toon until we get Yumiko, so I think you know, he's pretty much an anti-burn Toon for those 2 Toons, and of course he's neutralized as well. So I don't know. He hits very hard. I suppose if you want a very, very hard hitting Toon like an Andrea type of thing, then you might be interested in the Governor, and he's neutralized. But other than that, you know, I think he's missing a little something for me.
I think it's not bad. If you was to think of the newly ascended 5 stars, the green ones, Carl and Shiva and so forth, I think he could be quite effective because, you know, he does damage, and he, you know, if you don't kill these Toons, then at least they get an impair as well as 2 others. Yeah. So I can see some uses for him, but he's not like a big whoop until burn is more in use, or what should I say, until burn is more of a commonly occurring effect or ability in use in a defense team. But yeah, neutralize is pretty good as well, but you know, there are other Toons with neutralize that you can use in its place.
Yeah, I think if you had him under like a 6-star Mirabelle lead with plus 40 attack with an attack stat that high, he could do some really damage. Really big damage for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see, like I said earlier, what type of new attack teams will be, you know, circulating very, very soon when people start popping off, you know, Mirabelles and stuff to 6 stars. So he would work really well with Mirabelle. If he doesn't kill that Toon, he will impair it, which is nice, I suppose.
I think like if you had a Mirabelle lead with the Governor, you could always command him to go a little bit earlier, and he's pretty much going to kill 2 Toons, I would say. Even in a Carl lead, you know, I think you may do well to survive a rush like that. So the last Toon is the 6-star Barker, who I think we can all say is probably the coolest looking out the bunch. He's got
hell yeah.
He's got dual barbed swords, so he almost looks like he's from, you know, like a ninja game or something like that. But obviously we've only got 1 5-star Barker with the dual sides, so he probably ascends from him, and they have given him out a fair amount in kind of token events and all that type of stuff, so quite a lot of people do have that Barker. But his Adrenaline Rush, 58 AP, does 200 damage and 300 bleed damage for 2 turns to up to 3 enemies. His active skill is AP Drain, which is minus 20% AP to 2 enemies, and his leader skill is all fast teammates get plus 36 crit and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. So his stats are actually pretty nice as well. He's relatively low on the defense for a 5-star. He's got 1079 defense, but he has got 1700 attack and 1700 HP as well. So
I think you meant a 6-star, yeah?
Sorry, a 6-star, yeah. So I like his active skill, but other than that, I don't think he's much to get excited about, really, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm really excited about how he looks. Design-wise, he has got to be one of the coolest Toons that they will be releasing. Having said that, look at his Adrenaline Rush. Yes, it is one of the faster charging Adrenaline Rushes for a 6-star. It's a 58 AP, but it's bleed, and you know, I'm not such a big fan of bleed. I think it's just a terrible, terrible skill. And if you were to look at his weapon as well, it's also a bleeding weapon, and I probably would just, you know, cut that part out as well. So he's not a big whoop. His
Yeah,
and
and
his
his
yeah.
leader skill, I think, with the plus 36 crit. I mean, again, we discussed this kind of off the video, but I'm not too sure about it. There aren't any fast Toons at the moment with a 36 crit leader skill. I think that's the only colour which we don't have, and obviously Barker would fill that gap. But I'm not sure if you'd want the huge bonus to AP. I mean, like you said, you could use him for survival road, but I think it's almost you wouldn't really want to sacrifice all those 5 stars to ascend Barker to a
No.
6-star just for survival road. And again, I think the 5-star version is actually a nice 5-star. He's neutralized. He does the AP down on his adrenaline rush, and he's 45 AP. So I'm not sure
Yep.
I would change my 5-star Barker for this 6-star one.
Well, if I had like 3, I would probably do 1 just to have the cool looking Barker, but
Yeah.
practically I probably wouldn't use him. So nah, it's not worth it. I don't think so, at least.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all the Toons. So if you had to pick your top 3, and who would you pick?
Function or form?
if you had to use them in a raid team, for example.
I would go with the Sandy.
Yep.
And the Governor, and let's see, and the Yumiko. Wait, no. Can I do that again? I would definitely have the Wyatt. I think he's really awesome. And the Yumiko with the burn, she's interesting as well. And until I know what Sandy, how she works on the high tiers, I probably would wait with that. But with the mirror boobs, I'll go with the Governor, to be honest. So let's recap. It's Wyatt, Governor, and Yumiko.
Yeah, I think those would be my 3 exactly the same as well. I think I would go for Wyatt first, then Yumiko, and then Governor out of these characters. But just a special mention to that 4-star. I think for a 4-star, he is pretty good, and I can see people using him. Unfortunately, he is going to get minced by pretty much every 6-star out there, but I think for a 4-star and that specialist skill as well, I can definitely see that cropping up again in the future, on 5 stars or 6-star Toons.
Yeah. I think it's not impossible that we will probably get him in a roadmap, like a roadmap reward, like they've done for some Toons.
Yeah.
So he'll probably be available in a roadmap. Just a speculation. I don't have any inside source from Scopely or anything, but he would be interesting, and it would help a lot of newer players to actually build a team where they can start taking on probably not the top players, but people that have 5 stars, like who mostly free to play players with the Blue Jesus and stuff. So it could be interesting.
Yeah. So out of how many have we got? We've got 8 6-stars at the moment. So out of Mirabelle, Victor, Carl, Negan, Ezekiel, Rosita, Tyrese, and Shiva, if you could ascend 2 of these, which ones would you pick?
Oh, that's a tough one because, on one side, there are some great melee teams you can build with the Carl and the Shiva and so forth. But on the other side, Mirror Boobs, you got to give it to her. She's pretty decent 6-star. And she opens up a lot of possibilities of making ranged teams to combat just what I've noticed anyways, that a lot of people have been ascending the Carls and the Shivas and stuff, and they are greens and strong persona. So it's a bit tough. I don't know, Jab. I don't know. I'm still looking for my Mirror Boobs. I'm still waiting on her. She's still on my Pokemon list. So when I get her, I think I probably will ascend her, definitely, because she's pretty much useful in that aspect to combat these melee teams that will be popping up and that already have started popping up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'd really like to see the Mirabelle lead with a Governor with like a super attack and weapon maxed out, how hard he could hit, because that would be really pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think he would smack some faces, definitely.
Okay, so I think that pretty much about covers all the leaks. There's a fair few there, and I think that'll probably cover like the next kind of few weeks in terms of Premier recruits and stuff as well. And obviously in the week we get kind of like one oldish 5-star ascended to a 6-star, kind of like we did with Carl and Negan. And who was the other one? I can't remember. But yeah, that pretty much about covers it, guys. So thanks for sitting in and listening to us drivel on about these characters. So Ange, do you just want to let everybody know where they can find you? I know you're in all the chats online pretty much, but you've also just started a YouTube channel.
Yes, I have. I've just started a tiny little YouTube channel, and it'll not only focus on pulls and stuff, but I'll be trying to kind of be a chronicler of events happening in the community and so forth.
And there you have it, our thoughts on the leaked Toons, although somewhat jumbled ones from me, being starstruck and all. Again, a big thank you to Justabox for having me on his channel. It was loads of fun. You can find the link to his channel on the featured section. Give him some love. Also, a big thank you to all of you for watching. See you around.